This is Matthew Cratter from Trade University, and today I want to answer the question, is the Trezor Wallet going away? In case you're wondering what a Trezor is, you should first watch my video from yesterday where I talk about the best ways to store small and medium amounts of Bitcoin. And one of the best ways to do this is using a hardware wallet like the Trezor or the Cold Card. The Trezor, they look like this. There's the Model T, which is the high-end model, and then there's the regular model, which is also quite good. So I've been getting this question from a bunch of you. I've been getting a lot of emails saying that you've received emails from Trezor, especially if you've already owned a Trezor, and the emails go like this: still using Trezor Wallet to manage your cryptocurrency. Now's the time to switch to Trezor Suite. Trezor Wallet will no longer be supported as of January 31st. And a lot of you are worried about this. The first question obviously was, is this email a scam? You've got to be very careful, especially if you receive emails that appear to be from Trezor or Ledger. These can be scams, especially if you're using a Ledger. A lot of their email addresses were stolen. So the important thing, obviously, never click on links from an email, especially if it looks suspicious. You want to try to find it using a search engine independently or typing in the URL yourself. So that's what I did in this case. I hadn't seen this email, but if you go to the Trezor blog, the official Trezor blog for their December 2021 updates, they have the same message that if you're using Trezor Wallet, that is going away, but Trezor Suite will be what's replacing it. So I just want to distinguish these two things. Trezor Wallet is basically, it's an old URL, an old way of connecting to the Trezor. It's just wallet.trezor.io. And what you do is you would go here and connect your Trezor. And if you're connecting to this from the main Trezor website, you probably haven't been here in a while. If you're using this as a bookmark, you might still be using it. And this is what's going away in starting January 31st. You'll still be able to use your Trezor hardware wallet, but you won't be able to access it from this wallet website. Instead, you're just going to go to the home page, and this is how most of you are already doing it. You go to trezor.io, make sure you've typed in the correct URL. You click right here where it says I already own a Trezor. That will take you to this page, and then what you want to do is connect your Trezor and click to Trezor Suite for web. This is what this is one way of accessing Trezor Suite. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to plug in my Trezor hardware wallet. Right now, it is connected to my USB port on my desktop, and now I'm going to just click Use Trezor here. I've been using it, as you'll see, in a couple different locations. I just have a standard wallet here. You can also use this with a hidden wallet where you have a passphrase, and you'd need to enter the passphrase here to access that. So you can have more than one wallet inside the larger hardware wallet. So I'll just click Standard Wallet here, and we can see that this is my Trezor number 2. This is just a demo Trezor that I use. And the way you can tell that it's not completely set up, I have not created my 12-word recovery seed. So you always want to use create a backup. This is 12 words or 24 words. If your Trezor hardware wallet, the actual device, is lost or damaged, you can enter these 12 words or 24 words into another wallet and recover your Bitcoin. So your Bitcoin is not held on the hardware wallet, as we talked about before, but your private keys are held on the hardware wallet. So this is what the main interface looks like now. This is, again, Trezor Suite. If we look up here at the URL, and if you want to receive Bitcoin onto your hardware wallet, I would just click Receive right here, generate a fresh address, and I could send myself my Bitcoin, maybe from Coinbase or Strike or Gemini or Kraken or wherever I am buying it, and I could hold it on this hardware wallet. So this is one way of connecting through Trezor Suite. I'm just going to click out of this for now. The other way is you can actually download the desktop app. So you just go to suite.trezor.io/start. Before we clicked up here on Trezor Suite for web, instead we're going to click Get the Desktop app, and you can download that, install it. It's very easy to set up, and it will look like this. Let me just click Standard Wallet. So we can see here, rather than using the web interface, we're using the Trezor software directly, which probably is a little bit safer, assuming you've installed the software from the correct place. A URL you could be diverted to a bad URL. Now, it's very important, never enter your 12-word recovery seed or 24-word recovery seed into any web interface. When you restore wallets and when you do anything having to do with your private keys, which is your 12-word recovery seed, it will all be done on the screen of your Trezor. So if you ever get an email saying, click on this link and enter your 12 words, that is someone trying to steal your Bitcoin. So again, make sure you do create a backup when you set up your Trezor, and you can use it now using the Trezor Suite software, the desktop or laptop software, or you can do it using their web version, which is also fine. Now, the next question people are asking is, can I move my Bitcoin from my old ledger to a new Trezor? And this is in fact very easy to do. The first way you can do it is, especially if you think your ledger has been compromised, you're going to want to create a whole new wallet on your new Trezor. So you basically set up your Trezor hardware wallet. I have a couple of videos about how to do that. You generate a fresh address, and then you use your ledger to send your Bitcoin to that new address on your new Trezor. And so the Bitcoin will then be associated with a whole new private key and 12-word recovery seed on your Trezor. If you think that your ledger has not been compromised and you believe that your recovery seed is still safe, it hasn't been exposed in any way, what you can do is you can just buy a new Trezor. You can enter your recovery seed into the Trezor. I'm going to show you how to do that. And that will basically create another copy of your private keys on your Trezor hardware wallet. And so you can actually have multiple hardware wallets with the same recovery seed and the same private keys. You could have a ledger, you could have a cold card, which I also really like. It's a much more advanced wallet. You could have a Trezor, and you could have these various hardware wallet backups in addition to your recovery seed. So again, your recovery seed is just a version of your private key, and you can store this on as many hardware wallets as you want. It doesn't really make sense to have it on a lot of them, but if you want to have them on an old ledger and a Trezor, you can certainly do that. So how would we do method number 2? Let's assume that I have my recovery seed from my ledger. I generate this backup when I set it up. Then all you need to do is you go back to the Trezor website. I'll click right here to show you how to do it on the Trezor's official numbers, official instructions. But what we do is we go back to suite.trezor. I'm plugging in a newish hardware wallet here, a newish Trezor that hasn't been set up. I'm going to click right here where it says Trezor Suite for Web, and it's now reading my new hardware wallet. When you have a new hardware wallet, it will actually install the firmware when you set it up. This one already has the firmware installed. Very important to note, don't buy your Trezor from a third-party reseller. Don't buy a used Trezor. There could be malware on the firmware or the hardware. And if for some reason when you plug in your new Trezor and it doesn't ask you to install your firmware, it's probably compromised. This is where it says down here, something seems off, contact support. So the only reason it's not installing firmware now is because I've already done this myself. So again, what we're doing here is we're trying to move our Bitcoin our Bitcoin private keys from an old ledger to a Trezor. So I have this new Trezor, I've installed the firmware. I'm just going to click set up, and then it says firmware is already installed. I'll click continue. And this is where normally when you're setting up a new Trezor, you'll just create a new wallet here. This will have new private keys, and then you can send your Bitcoin you can send your Bitcoin over from your old ledger to your Trezor. But if you believe your ledger backup, your recovery seed has not been compromised, then what you'd want to do is just click right here where it says recover wallet. And then what the Trezor will prompt you to do is it will prompt you to enter your 12-word recovery seed or 24-word recovery seed onto the screen of your Trezor, especially in the Model T. And that's how we would basically move our private keys to this new Trezor hardware wallet, and it would have the same private keys as on the old ledger. So again, I'll link to the advanced recovery process here. You can read more about it, and I would say here also for more advanced users, learn how to run a full node and also how to connect your hardware wallet to it. It's very important to recognize that what we're doing here when we click into one of these, either use the Trezor web interface or use the Trezor Suite software, that we're actually trusting Trezor's node or Trezor's nodes. And again, the only way you can interact with the Bitcoin network is through a node. So you have this choice. Do you want to do it through someone else's node? Now, Trezor right now seems to be a very reliable company. Of course, in the future, they might not be as reliable. They may decide to steal customers' Bitcoin. And one way they would do this, or a hacker who got into Trezor's software or website, the way they would do this is they would have you go to a different site, maybe ask you to enter your recovery seed on that, or they could simply send you to a different. They would send you to a node that was a fake node and did not give you accurate information from the Bitcoin network, and somehow use that to get you to give up your private keys or your recovery seed. So again, it's important if you really want to, especially as your holdings of Bitcoin increase, it's important to learn how to do these basic things like run a full node, connect your hardware wallet to it using desktop software. Otherwise, you have to trust someone else's node, whether that's Trezor or Ledger. I do cover this extensively in my advanced course on Bitcoin, which is called The Ultimate Guide to Bitcoin, where I teach you not just how to buy Bitcoin anonymously. I have 4 lectures on that. I have a bunch of lectures, how to run your own Bitcoin node, how to connect a hardware wallet, how to set up a cold card hardware wallet, which is actually quite complicated, especially for beginners. I recommend for that reason that most beginners start with Trezor and later upgrade to a cold card wallet. And then finally, the most recent 2 lectures are about multi-sig, really the gold standard in storing your Bitcoin. This would be probably if you have more than $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. Certainly if you have more than $20,000 or $30,000 worth of Bitcoin, you shouldn't be storing it on a single hardware wallet. You should be using this configuration called multi-sig, where you use hardware wallets from different vendors. So that's why I call it do-it-yourself, multi-vendor, multi-sig. I will be talking about a commercial version of this in a subsequent video, but if you want to do it yourself, I have about an hour's worth of lecture on setting that up. But again, that's for a more advanced stage. For now, the most important thing, just get your coins off of the exchange, store them on a hardware wallet the simple way. And I think the simplest way these days is still using a Trezor or using a Blockstream Jade is another good hardware wallet. If you're interested in this Bitcoin course, I'll stick a link in the description notes below, as well as a coupon code that you can use. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.